Greetings, folks. This is Mason Weaver with breaking news. This is the 3rd of May, 2022, and I just had to call the church to just double check to make sure hell has not frozen over. There is a leak. Now, understand, folks, a leak. Understand the day and time we're in right now. Democrats are in control of the media, they're in control of our government, and they lie for a living. So we have to be very, very careful with the news that comes out of Politico. It broke late last night. Now other news agencies are carrying a story of a leak of the decision made by the Supreme Court on abortion. And everyone's heads are exploding. Understand, folks, if this rumor is true, you're going to be punished. If you allow the lewd left to tell you that you're mean and evil and honorable, if you let evil tell you you're evil, you're going to be upset. This Supreme Court decision is interesting in a couple of ways, but first, let's go and listen to the news report about what is being said today.
Draft represents the court's final word on the matter. But right now, at just after 11 p.m., protesters and counter-protesters are outside the U.S. Supreme Court in D.C. as word of this reported draft opinion spreads. According to Politico, Justice Samuel Alito wrote it for the majority, and it involves a challenge to Mississippi's ban on abortion after 15 weeks. Justices heard oral arguments on that case back in December. As of tonight, the Supreme Court has not issued a ruling in the case. It's important to note that opinions and even justices' votes have changed during the drafting process. The High Court is expected to rule on the case before its term is up in late June or early July. Now, another big note here, this ruling could impact efforts locally to ban abortions. Georgia's 6-week abortion law, signed back in 2019, has been tied up in the courts for 2 years. The judges signaling they will wait and see how the Supreme Court decides the challenge to Roe v. Wade in the Mississippi case.
Folks, let's first understand what it means, what it does not mean. First, if it's true, if this truly is a leak from the Supreme Court on a decision, it is unprecedented. I cannot find what ever has happened before, or a leak. This is like the CIA leaking something about Trump. Where did you see it before? Where did you see the FBI leak something about any president other than Trump? These people are now in charge of the government, so we must take this with a grain of salt. Do not get emotionally upset, emotionally in charge, because they win that way. Keep our powder dry and respond. Now, the left is already responding. They're already marching, and so are we in front of the Supreme Court. But let's understand what this is saying. You have 5 justices reportedly supporting banning abortion. You have 3 justices right now who have gone against banning abortion, and you have 1 unknown. Now my question is that 1 unknown the leaker? That's been speculated, but the Chief Justice his opinion have not been verified yet. So even if Judge Alito has the majority and Judge Roberts, the Supreme Court leader, does not, his vote on the left side will still be 4 votes as opposed to 5 for ending abortion. So that's positive for us. But the response to the left is very interesting. They're lashing out at the Supreme Court draft, confirming our worst fears, they said. This is our worst fear. And the abortion rights groups came out immediately and started calling names. And My Body, My Choice disappeared during the COVID vaccine mandates. But if they're set to overturn Roe versus Wade, if they're set to overturn that, it's still going to come back to the states. So you're still going to have abortion, but you're going to have less power and less power. Now, I want you to hear the arguments that's coming out this week. The arguments coming out against you, coming out against your belief system, how unfair you are. Reporters are saying that the Supreme Court leaked the draft opinion and what it means for Congress. They want Congress now to codify the decision of abortion. They're going to want an amendment to the Constitution. They're going to tell you how rotten you are. This also is going to be used to motivate and organize the resistance for the November election. So understand. So folks, I would suggest if the Supreme Court did in fact do this, this leak was done to put pressure on the Supreme Court to change their mind. Now understand, the decision was written in February. In February, so therefore, since February now to May, they could have had some changes in the heart. Some judges may have changed their mind, but maybe not enough. So the leaker wants you and I to witness the hate and response from the loot left. They're going to be motivated. Same thing, to use Trump, Russia, everything else to get themselves motivated and us demotivated because you're trying to argue with fools. We're trying to debate insanity with someone who's insane. So it's important that we sit back and relax right now. Sit back and relax right now. If the Supreme Court gave us the victory, we don't have to argue with these fools. You gotta call your names. Do not get the emotion. Emotions give them victory. An emotional response, because they're emotional creatures. The loot left are very emotional creatures, so they will not be quiet and sit down and rightfully divide the word. They will not sit down and have a calm conversation. You have never had a calm conversation with a loot left liberal, because they have to get emotionally involved and shake their hands and huff to get you to do the same thing. So you're going to watch TV. You're going to have people with authority and honor and positions telling you how crazy you are, how stupid you are, and our next step to fight this. It's always a battle with Democrats. It's always a battle. Our next fight, I'll fight for you. Every Democrat politician promises to fight for you. I'm going to fight for you because you are helpless and homeless without me fighting for you. They're going to be fighting. They're going to come up and they're going to march and make a lot of noise to get you to think that the nation is against you. The press is going to magnify what they're doing to expose them as being broader and deeper than what they are. If the Supreme Court decision is accurate and true, and when the decision comes out probably in June, relax, folks. Don't stir this up before the election. It doesn't matter. Let it stand. Let it stand. Let them fight by themselves and call your names. Let's focus on the election. Let's focus in June on Juneteenth. Let's focus on changing the idea about white folks and black folks. The idea about the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Let's talk about the COVID response. Getting rid of these mandates. Getting back to normal. Getting our folks. Let's talk about the passport they want to have us on our travel. Let's talk about the food shortages coming up. Let's talk about the burning down of food processing systems around this country. Let's talk about the attempt to buy up all the land from these billionaire liberals so that we can grow or build. Let's talk about allowing China to give us all our supplies and trade. So when they shut down behind the second wave of COVID, we're going to suffer another supply chain. Let's talk about the interest rates going past 5% for homes. Let's talk about gas prices getting so high, everything you touch is higher. They're trying to blame inflation on the war in Ukraine. They're trying to say that the inflation, the cost of things are going up because there's no war with us in Russia. There's no war. There's supply chain out of that. The prices of everything you touch is going up because gas that produces, transports, and supplies everything we touch or use all day long is going up. The diesels for the trucks that deliver the food to your restaurant, the gas in the cars that get you around town, get you back to put to work, the cost of everything you do is up because gas is going up. Let's talk about that. The solution of all these problems is people in power that care about our well-being. So I'm telling you, the abortion issue, if that's real, do not let that side you, folks. We have a nation to win, not a decision in court to win. You give these fools another 3 or 4 years, they're going to put 3 or 4 more members on the Supreme Court and rule you for everything you do. The real issue is that voting booth in November. Don't let them get you off your course here. I want you to join us. Subscribe to leavetheplantation.org on YouTube and Facebook and on our website, leavetheplantation.org. Join us, subscribe, like this video, share this video. Let's get back to ruling, not responding. This was leaked so that we can respond. So folks, if I take you in my arms and we dance a national dance, you let me lead, I'm in charge of where we end up on the dance floor. And it will always be at my table. Do not let that get past you. We are being manipulated. Everything you see on TV is suspect. Everything you hear on the radio is suspect. Everything online is suspect. They are programming and grooming you. The real issue, the real power, the real vote, the real strength is election time. Get your candidates in place. Get your leaders in place. Take back your nation. And it should be irrelevant to you what names they call you. They're going to call you everything they can think of. Let them call you the names. Gather your forces together. And on election night, take your Bible to the voting booth. Take your Bible to the voting booth and vote as a Christian. Not as a white person or a black person, a young person or old person. Not as a rich person or a poor person. Not the East Coast or West Coast. They're dividing you by your difference. God unites you by your commonality. He is the only answer to all of our problems. Let's stop pretending that we can solve our problems. In the history of mankind, we never have. And in the history of mankind, every problem we ever had came from government. That is your watchdog or your enemy. You have to control your government. So do not let them take you off your trail. If this issue is true, if this rumor is true, it's a great victory, but it's a victory now. You don't have to refight it. They're not going to change their mind because the people are protesting in the streets. You're not going to convince a fool he's the fool by debating with him. Get back to November, the election. This is Mason Weaver. Stay right or be left. Eternity is a long time to be wrong. See you next time.